here was the formula. Enhancement guys, enhancement guys, enhancement guys. What was the next step? Intercontinental Championship. Look what they just did. How many losses did Bron Breakker have before he won the Intercontinental Championship?
Someone who was a triple threat match for the United States Championship at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens was Randy Orton, and now he is going to go against Gunther at Bash of Berlin coming up.
Oh, that's cool. I'd watch that.
So EC3, just on paper, what do you think about the match? I think you already said that, but at the same time, again, you have your writer's hat on now too.
Yeah.
Why is WWE notorious now for just making matches without good stories? The story of this was it wasn't a clear pin at the King of the Ring, so therefore he's going to get a title shot because Gunther won the title but didn't clearly pin Randy Orton, and so that's the story to just throw in for a match at Berlin. Put your writer hat on with that.
Yeah. First off, I'd be like, is there a rematch clause thing?
I remember when Triple H was like, this is a new era, like they were talking about like how there's going to be no more rematch clauses, but now they're doing rematch clauses.
Oh, okay, that's absurd. Well, on paper, you got Gunther, you got Orton in the Deutschland, the German, like that sounds really cool. So you have your end point, right? Like, how do you get there? There's a lot of better ways, I think, than like a miscellaneous, it wasn't really a pin, maybe it wasn't, and then I'll just have a title match anyways. But that's why I only kind of check out the PPLs, right? Premium Live Events or PLEs, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, because like I don't really know the terrible stories that take place, but I do wind up getting, good to great matches as a result. And Gunther in Germany as a champion against Randy, who's probably one of the greatest in-ring of all time. Like, that's pretty dope to me. So I'm not going to worry about the story. I'm going to check the match out and, whatever.
So people coming in and out and checking out matches, is that the new thing when it comes to WWE being satisfied with that?
Perhaps.
Because that's happened quite a bit. They just come in and out.
I kind of watch it too like I'd watch basketball or baseball now. It's like, playoffs, I'm checking out for sure. Big games, I'm going to check out for sure. Sunday night football, I'll check out, even if I have no like dogs in that fight. But I don't need to sit there and watch every game. I don't need to watch every inning of the Guardians or the Yankees or the Giants or the Reds, affirmated Reds, to like know, oh, there's a big game with context that I will probably go watch. So from a casual point of view, if I'm looking at it as a casual person and casual fan of wrestling, maybe that's good enough.
Do you think that's good enough to WWE events with what EC3 just said? Wrestling fans going in and out now?
Bro, you know what's so funny with what EC3 said? Think about this, bro. Think about this. If you're Major League Baseball, if you're the NFL, if you're NHL, if you're NBA, bro, if you could write that every game is a big game, wouldn't you write it that way? You would write it that way, bro. Like if this was a work, every game would be, bro. The WWE doesn't write every show like it's a big show. That's the problem. Do you think if the fix were in that professional sports would not make every single game a big game that you've got to see? That's the problem, bro. The WWE has the opportunity to do that, and they don't do it.
Check out BrainBuster, the daily quiz that tests your WWE knowledge with winning streaks, stats, and more. It's time to see if you're up for the challenge.
I think the biggest thing when it comes to WWE versus other sports, especially combat sports, but pro sports and college sports too, I'm a huge college football guy, Ohio State football. What I like about college football so much is that there's stakes involved, man. Stakes. Like every single game counts. out of the 12, ish, regular season games, if we lose one game, and it's happened over the past few years, it can change the entire trajectory of our season, because that's how much every single game matters. So I don't even care if it's Akron, that's our first game, Western Michigan, Marshall are our first 3 games of the year. It's showing me. So basically, say for instance, if a big juggernaut of a wrestler is going against an enhancement talent, that's showing how massive the wrestler is before he goes against a big foe. That's the same thing when it comes to Ohio State in these non-conference games. Yes, they're cupcake games, but the spread against Akron's 52. Are you that, big of a juggernaut?
Yeah.
As soon as you're hitting up Penn State, as soon as you're hitting up Michigan State and Michigan and, those big games, Big Ten championship, we're going to see how big of a juggernaut you are, because there's stakes involved. But the WWE, though, that used to be the model when there was Andre and Stud and beating all those enhancement talents, and then you're making them look like a big juggernaut to go against that big foe. But now it's just 50-50, and it's just content creating that formula isn't even delivered to us anymore.
Yeah, well, like Roman, I think we were talking about before we went on air, like I saw the reaction he had in the SmackDown segment. I was like, he's reached the highest level of over you can reach. But you can't really get everybody there. Not everyone's going to have a 5-year title reign and tell conclusively great stories with merit through that entire time and have great opponents to not only beat, but dominate sometimes. I think with the Ohio State thing, I'm a fan of Ohio State. I'm not as big as a fan as you, Chris. I'll watch the first quarter of Ohio State with Akron. Oh, we're up 21-3. I'm going to go out. Well, you would probably still watch every snap, right? So different levels of fandom, I guess.
I'm watching every snap because as a college football fan, it's still stakes. Because literally, and this has happened to Ohio State, we've made the spread, but because we weren't convincing enough in our win, we've actually lost a spot in the rankings. It's happened to Ohio State plenty of times. It's a primetime game. We have a team that isn't as good. The spread is 21. We beat them by 20 or 22, and we were third. And because somebody did better that week, they jumped us. And that's the reason why every single game matters to me. Because I'm watching that and saying we're not playing. Even though we make the spread, we didn't look good enough to keep our spot.
And also, bro, at the end of the year, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, in sports, in college sports, if there's a tie, don't points for and points against come into play?
They usually go head to head, and then whoever's ranked the highest and whoever has the most conference wins, and so there's a lot of factors when it comes.
Yeah, but I mean, it could come down to even points mattering and making a difference.
Strength of schedule, and that's a huge, especially when it was a 4-team playoff. Now it's supposed to be more than that, 12. But at the same time, when it was a 4-team playoffs, strength of schedule, strength of record, quality wins, all that matters, man. All that matters. And how good you look in the game, that matters too. Again, stakes, man, stakes. And so that's why do you think Vince, and again, that used to be the model. It used to be stakes were involved, man. And why do you think that? When did you see the pivot? When did you notice the pivot when stakes? Because even when you were there were still number one contenders matches and things like that, and retirement matches and things like that. Stakes were still involved. Now we don't see that. Why do you think that's the case?
God, bro, to me, it just keeps going back to what freaking Triple H told Ryback. No. And he meant it. They meant it. Because, Chris, here's the thing, what you just laid out. Let's use Bron Breakker as an example. Chris, here was the formula. Enhancement guys, enhancement guys, enhancement guys. What was the next step? Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. Look what they just did. How many losses did Bron Breakker have before he won the Intercontinental Championship?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd hope zero.
no, they beat him. They beat him, bro. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Idiot. That's stupid.
Yeah. He should have been a machine going to the.
I mean, I still can't get past the fact that freaking how is Gunther going to beat Randy Orton if Sami Zayn beat him? I still can't get past that. I'm sorry, man.